Well, bam! Hey guys, how's it going on? It's Bits Degeneration here with another real talk on nostalgia. This is our second time recording it, so woohoo! And can't tell me what to do. And here we have a special guest called John. And so, okay. So today I'm going to be talking about nostalgia and how lame it is in the context of objective reviews. Because I remember back in my video of Sonic 3, I had talked about how Sonic Adventure was a bad game, and it is, and I will stick by that until the day I die. Because, well, if you want to see my complete thought synopsis, then check out Nintendo Fans for the Win video, Nintendo Fan for the Win video on Sonic Adventure, because it kind of encapsulates my thoughts as a whole. The mechanics aren't there, the story isn't there, nothing is there, and so. But it had been hyped up to be such a good game, and so when I played it, I was like, oh, maybe there's just something wrong with me, because this was back when I was like, I don't know, like 4th grade. I had just gotten $4 from Christmas, and I saw it was on a Steam sale, and I was like, yes, please.
Steam even active then?
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
And so, I had bought that game. And then and the same thing also happened with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I owned that game before I reviewed it. Most all of my games that I've reviewed, I've owned before I reviewed it. Even my next one, I got before I reviewed it. And so, but I played it, and I was like, this is boring. Why do so many people like it? And even I looked it up, and the reception at the time was like 9 out of 10 on Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and that was just crazy to me.
Well, I feel like the only reason that people would think that way is because at the time it was probably the best thing since sliced bread. So a lot of people nowadays would see that there's a lot better things that a lot of people could do, but back then that would have been the best thing since Betty White. So
Betty White?
yes.
Okay. The problem is that games that deserve higher ratings, like, okay, let me play not devil's advocate, but let me say something that's very unpopular. I enjoyed Sonic Unleashed. It was a fun game in my opinion, and I had fun playing it.
Okay. I feel like everybody enjoyed Sonic Unleashed, but nobody liked the werewolf levels.
Okay, well, do you want to play God of War?
Yes.
I was actually gonna buy God of War.
That's what's at the
So in the Sonic Unleashed was critically panned because of the werehog levels. Also, that's a stupid name. But they were honestly pretty bland. But the daytime levels were so fun. But people kind of glossed over that and were more critical. I feel like this also could be because as video games have matured, so have critics and expectations too, and the way games are supposed to be. And so games where you beat the boss and that's all you did would have gotten A's back in the day, but now they would have gotten a B because of their storytelling aspect was lacking. So I think maybe that could have also happened, but I think it's generally people still look back on those old games with rose-tinted glasses, and that's also evident in the completionist video on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which I personally own on PC, PSP, and I had played through it, and when a third of your game consists of you holding the X button, spinning around, targeting everything, and then shooting things in Tails and Eggman's level, then you did something wrong.
Because that's Sonic in most games, but I can't really gloss over that. So you do things like that.
Okay, so, but in that video, he gave the rating of finish it, which is basically finish it or complete it. So basically where you go out, buy the game, beat it, and you complete it. And no, that game is not good enough to warrant that sort of reception. I'd say play it if you get it on a Steam sale, which I did. I always get my games on a Steam sale. Like I said in my last game, the last game that I paid full price for was Borderlands 2, and I had pre-ordered it back in 6th grade. 6th, 7th?
I don't know.
Because I got it, like, when it was first announced.
Okay, well, stuff.
So, and he gave it that rating, and I can't not say that it was because he has such fond memories of the Dreamcast, because he had mentioned in several videos that while the Dreamcast was a technological marvel, and it had very good first-party game support, it wasn't generally a good console with third-party game support. And the reason that works for the Wii U is because Nintendo is such a huge company that it doesn't really matter.
Like Nintendo and, well, most companies in general, they basically take games and they could either choose to make them better or make them quote-unquote better. Like in the case that a lot of games they'll have new things added to them that'll change the game completely, and then they might also remove some things that people loved about the game. So
you're getting a bit off topic there. Okay, so with all the stuff in nostalgia, it can also be seen in real life, whereas certain people, my parents included, but also other objective parties that I was talking to, like I sometimes occasionally talk to adults at gatherings, they look back on high school with fond memories. And if you're currently going through high school, you would have a few things to say about that, because high school generally, it's not a fun time. I'd say 70% of the time you are not having fun. While people say, well, that's the time that I socially blossomed, that's the time that I met my best friend. But people forget the fact that you had to dedicate days, even weeks even, studying for a test that could decide your entire future. Which, I don't think that sounds fun personally.
I feel like most of the time people do that because, like in terms of high school, they want you to go to high school. They don't want to tell you, hey, I kind of had a lot of trouble that time, because they don't want you to think, okay, I don't want to do this because it was hard for them. They want you to think, oh, they had a lot of fun that time, so why don't I go so I can have that much experience?
Well, you're a pretty mean person if you're lying about how fun high school is. It's like, I don't think people go to school willingly. Honestly, if I had a choice, I'd probably skip half of my periods. You do nothing in language arts.
Don't take that as advice.
I am very good at giving advice.
Alright, anyways, we digress.
Okay, so, with nostalgia, there is a certain factor where people will say stuff that objectively they don't mean, and I feel like that's also because they haven't played through it. So when they played through it, it was groundbreaking. It was like, imagine the Order 1886's graphics put in a good game is like. So it was like that, and they were playing through, and they would play through it, and they would be like, this is groundbreaking stuff. Why does every game do this? And now that every game does it, it feels sort of commonplace to us. Whereas people back in the day would be like, Spin Dash? That's so cool! And now I'm like, yeah, Spin Dash. That's been like the past all games.
I feel like the reason that people have such higher expectations now is because the gap from the past to the future has been so large. Okay, so games have changed from the past to the future. You guys, you already know that. But it's changed so much that the games now, we would expect half the things that they show us, not just like think, oh my gosh, it's something new.
Yeah, so in short, nostalgia doesn't belong in objective reviews, and I learned that the hard way when I reviewed Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This is Bits Degeneration and
Sky
signing off. Sleep. Could you say that again to the microphone?
Hello everybody, somebody's gonna murder you in your sleep.